Everybody, today I am in a small neighborhood right on the east side of downtown Indianapolis. It's kind of in the thick of it down here. It's a neighborhood called Chatham Arch. So if you like historic homes, very old neighborhoods, and you like walkability, things to do, bikeability, and the proximity to downtown Indianapolis, then this could be an interesting place for you. So we're going to explore this neighborhood just a little bit, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton, a real estate agent with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here and you want to know everything there is to know about places like where I'm standing right now, Chatham Arch, or Indianapolis, or any of the surrounding metro, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video each and every week. Now, we get reach outs from people all over Indianapolis and the surrounding metro and all over the country with questions about neighborhoods like this, like Chatham Arch, Indianapolis, and then all of the suburbs that surround Indianapolis. So if you have questions about any of those, then make sure that you reach out any way you know how, and we absolutely have your back with those questions, and also when you're making your move to Indy or within Indy. So today, like I said, I'm in Chatham Arch. Super cool neighborhood that's right off the east side of downtown Indianapolis proper. Really, that's kind of called the wholesale district. Now, there are a lot of things about Chatham Arch that make it really unique. For one, it's one of the oldest neighborhoods in Indianapolis. So when the expansion from the mile square of downtown Indianapolis began, then neighborhoods were built kind of all around that. And this is one of the first. So since it's one of the first, then you might imagine, sorry, looking both ways here, across the road, that it's probably fairly old, and that's absolutely true. So most of the homes in Chatham Arch were actually built from the 1830s to the 1930s. So old homes in Chatham Arch, absolutely. Architecture in Chatham Arch, absolutely. National Register of Historic Places, definitely. There's over 100 structures in Chatham Arch, and it's not really all that big a neighborhood, but over 100 structures that contribute to that distinction. So while Chatham Arch is historic and has a lot of historic homes, it does have some homes, of course, being that old, that do need a tremendous amount of work. But this particular area has a huge number of homes that have been very heavily renovated and restored, not necessarily exactly to what they were like when they were built, but in that same vein at least. Now, even with its age, we're talking, 1830s and 1930s when most of the homes here were built, it doesn't eliminate the fact that new construction is going on here too. You might see a few homes that are over 100 years old, just right in a row next to one another, and then just right next door there's a brand new home where the old one was torn down. So in fact, here right behind me, complete teardown isn't necessarily going on, but it's certainly close to that. So it's being so renovated that there isn't a whole lot left of the original structure of the house, but there is a little bit. And when you get into that new construction, the newer part of the home, it's still kept within the same architectural spirit of the entire neighborhood. So this one here is definitely kind of falling into that particular category. Now, the thing that makes Chatham Arch something that's really popular for a lot of people, it's definitely not for everybody because it's very, very city. I mean, you are right in the thick of a lot that's going on in Indianapolis. You're just a mile or less from downtown proper in Indianapolis, so it can get a little bit busy, and it's dense. So it's an urban place for sure, and some people want a little bit more room to spread out. So it's not exactly for everybody, but the people that want that and want walkability, bikeability, and things to do, places to go, like shops and restaurants and bars, then that's one of those reasons that it is so incredibly popular, because Chatham Arch actually is one of the neighborhoods that takes up a little bit of Mass Ave, Massachusetts Avenue. And that is a hugely popular spot for people all around Indianapolis. And even when you get out into the suburbs, like myself, I haven't lived in Indianapolis proper for a good number of years. We still come to Mass Ave for things to do. Some of the best restaurants in Indianapolis are located right along there. Some of the best nightlife is located right along Mass Ave. Not that we do that kind of stuff anymore with young kids, but it's still an incredibly popular place, and we like to come back to it whenever we can. And also the culture as well. There are tiny theaters, fringe theaters, but then you also have the Murat Theater and the Egyptian Room there, which has enormous Broadway shows, enormous concerts. It's definitely a place where you get a lot of entertainment throughout the entire year. So Mass Ave is actually one of the cultural districts of Indianapolis, and a lot of people think, well, it's a neighborhood, and yeah, it kind of is, but it's really more of a cultural district. If you said that you lived in Mass Ave or near Mass Ave, everybody's going to know where you're talking about, but you may not necessarily live right on Massachusetts Avenue. If you live right in the immediate vicinity of Mass Ave, then you don't have a lot of choices other than apartments and condos. And once you get off of Mass Ave and you get out into some of the neighborhoods that take up just that little bit of it, like Chatham Arch, that's where you can get into, of course, more condos, but a lot of your single family detached homes. So if you wanted to live in Chatham Arch with any of those condos along Mass Ave or right in the heart of Chatham Arch, which is a little bit north of Mass Ave, or any one of the single family detached homes, what are you going to be looking at? Well, you can expect to pay for the condos at least in the 300s. And then, of course, with all the single family detached homes, you've got all of this great architecture, you've got history, you've got proximity to Mass Ave, and you've got extreme proximity to downtown Indianapolis. In fact, my wife, she used to live right along Mass Ave in a place called the Real Silk Factory, which is part of Chatham Arch, and we walked to downtown many times. So when you have that kind of proximity, what can you expect to pay? Well, you can expect to pay quite a bit. So if you're getting into the single family detached homes, they're going to be more expensive than those condos in the 300s. But of course the condos can get into the 4s and the 5s and beyond, but the single family homes, some of them that need a lot of work, of course, would be the cheaper ones, like the one I just showed you here a couple of minutes ago, but you can get into the 4s, the 5s, and sometimes you can find 1-bedroom homes in Chatham Arch, which is pretty incredible. That'd be a very old home. That's definitely not with the modern style of having many more bedrooms than that, but that's going to be the least expensive into the 2 bedrooms. But you can expect to pay over $1 million in Chatham Arch as well. But 4s, 5s, 6s, $700,000 is not surprising whatsoever to pay for a single family home here. But Chatham Arch, it's a place that's probably going to remain popular for a very long time because of the historical significance to it, the architectural significance to it, and its proximity to Mass Ave, which just continues every single year to get better and better and better with more things to do. It was great 10 years ago, and maybe 30 years ago it wasn't so good, but it's certainly fantastic now. Awesome all year long, great place to go. So Chatham Arch is just going to help that. And then of course that proximity to downtown Indianapolis, incredible. It's one of the neighborhoods that gets you the closest to downtown proper. So not for everybody, like I said, because you might want to spread out a little bit more, but Chatham Arch, for all of those reasons, could be a great fit. So if you have questions about Chatham Arch at all, or any of Indianapolis or the surrounding metro, then make sure you reach out. And until the next one, we'll see you later.